So when Panda Hobby came out with the 1/24 crawler with portal axles, I was so excited. But if you saw my video, it was kind of a letdown. They're really cool looking, but they're plagued with problems.
Subscribe. Ding the bell.
Now, I think I found a way around most of the issues pretty much without spending any money at all, which is great. But one of the biggest problems is the springs in the shocks were pretty stiff. Also, one other thing that happened was this motor on this one died after the first use. So anyway, I contacted Panda Hobbies and I told them the issues that I was having. I said it would be nice if you guys were coming out with soft springs. When are they coming out? I told them about the motor. To my surprise, they sent me, which I didn't even ask for, 2 new ESCs, which I don't think I'm going to use. I'm going to end up using my own ESCs because these ESCs are not very good. And they sent me 15 coil soft spring and V2 shock shafts right there. They're also sending me a new motor, but that's coming from China. I'm not paying for any of this, which is awesome. They're standing by their products. I think they knew, or they got their feedback that these guys were not so good and had a lot of issues. So for me, they are being a stand-up company and they're sending me all the parts I need for free, which is awesome. I'm going to get these on here and you're going to see all the other mods I did to this guy so far. Still got to do it to this guy to make it function so much better. So I'm trying to get the servo not to rub up against the frame. So there's a few things I did. I cut the corners of the top of the servo off. I cut the corners of the top of the servo mount. I dremeled the edges of the frame away where the servo would catch and rub up against. And also I've got the front bumper and I cut off the little nubs that keep it from rotating. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of space in between here and here to try to expand the frame just a tad, and then I'm going to add some screws to hold it in there tight. Well, there's one screw that's already in there, but then there was a nub on the back, so you're going to need some little screws to make sure you can mount it to the frame. So these are the spacers I'm going to use. I'm going to put them one in here and one in here just to spread the frame just a tiny bit. I know it's not much, but every millimeter is gonna be effective at this point. I also cut out a little bit of meat off this little bar right here on both sides. That lines up exactly where the servo was rubbing against the mount, so it would rub against this as well. I cut back just a little bit of plastic off that. So let me get that back together. So here is how it comes out of the box. If you look right here and right here, you can see the servo hits the frame on top and hits the frame on the side. No travel at all. With the mods and moving the shocks up, you have a tremendous amount of travel and it doesn't hit the frame on the sides, so that allows for a lot more clearance and articulation. Oil filled shocks, I guess. Listen, look at this. There's absolutely nothing in there at all. It feels just like a friction shock. That's exactly what it feels like. Let's open it up. There is literally maybe a drop of oil in there. That's going to do absolutely nothing. All right, let's see how much oil was actually in there. Also, the color of it, you can see that it's metal rubbing against metal, basically grinding the metal down. That is not an effective shock. Let's see if we can make these work better. So here's the piston inside the shock. It is a metal piston. Without proper lubrication, you're going to get this kind of grinding down of the metal in your shock fluid. The spring is not super stiff, but I think for the size of the truck, it's a little too stiff, and it doesn't allow the shock to fully compress under the truck's own weight. softer springs would be a great addition. So here is the 12 coil, I would say medium to hard spring that comes on the Panda 124. You could feel it's pretty stiff. And here are the ones that Panda sent me, the 15 coil soft springs. And they do feel a good bit softer. These should make a considerable difference in letting the shocks depress and getting full articulation and not having the resistance of these harder springs. So I hope here you can see the difference in size between the pistons. The one on the left is the original and the one on the right is the V2. You can see the one on the right is beveled. The V2 is beveled. I'll be installing 10 weight shock oil. 10 weight in the new piston, and they feel really good. Smooth. Don't feel that grinding anymore. You can feel the piston going back and forth, but it doesn't feel rough or that grinding that it had before. And with the 15 coil soft spring, it feels very good. I don't think that this truck will have much of an issue depressing the spring now. It feels very good. I did the same mod to my Axial SCX24. I put plumber's solder around the rim on the inside and just a little bit of hot glue to keep it in there. And it still has room to clear the portal axles. It's about 2 millimeters or so, but that's all you need. So this mod adds about 6 grams per tire, which is 24 grams total. The tires with the weights in them are, I think it's 22 grams. Now with the added 6, it's 28 grams per tire. A lot of weight down low that'll keep this truck grounded. Also, I recently upgraded my SCX24 with a Furatech Lizard ESC. So this one really crawls really nice. But I took the ESC out of the SCX24 and I threw that in the Panda Hobby as another upgrade. So this one here, you could buy this for like 30 bucks, I think, 30 or 40 bucks, but then you need to get a controller for it too, which I think is 30 bucks, so maybe it's 60 bucks. So that's up to you if you want to do that or just keep the original ESC in there. This one is 10 times better. It's still noisy, has a little whine. This one is quiet as all hell. The Furatech is awesome, smooth as hell, quiet as hell. This one's whiny like crazy, but it's definitely better than the ESC that Panda Hobby provides for you. So this one is going to make this guy crawl a lot better. I'm going to be using my son's Picasso tiles to measure out how well the mods worked. Each one of these tiles measures almost 6.8 millimeters. So straight away you can see that by lowering the shocks to the lowest setting and putting in the springs and all the mods that we did here, we definitely increased the center ground clearance. Here we've got 5 tiles, which is about 34 millimeters, and it is hitting how it comes straight out of the box. And on the one with the mods, you can see 34 millimeters. It clears easily, probably like 36, 37, because once I put on an additional one, it just doesn't clear. So we're probably around that 36, 37 millimeter clearance, which is a good improvement. It increases the ride height, but you have better center clearance. Let's check out the articulation. On the unmodded version, let's put on 3 tiles, which is around 20.4 millimeters, and you can see we still have the tire touching in the back. Let's try a 4th one, and the tire is off the ground, so that's not what we want. And with 5 tiles it gets even worse. So out of the box it definitely doesn't have the articulation that it does after the mod. So let's go back to 3, so around 20.4, we'll say 21 millimeters out of the box. Now with the mods, we're going to go straight to 5, which is 34 millimeters. Oh my God, stop rolling. So you can see with the mods, we get 14 millimeters more articulation, and that is significantly better than how it comes out of the box. It's not perfect, and I wish it could be more, but that's as much as I was able to gain without getting, rebuilding the whole thing from scratch. So using the original parts that Panda put on there and some of the upgraded parts that they sent me. Now let's check out the back. Also, one other issue this truck has is how far it rolls when you let go of the trigger and you're not giving it power. I've got it pushed all the way back. It's not rolling anywhere. And now watch how far I can roll it without any power. So that will happen once you let go of the power. If you're going forward, it'll roll back. If you're going backwards, it'll roll forward. So that is around 13 to 14 millimeters of roll. If you're on an edge and you roll, you're falling off. So that's kind of annoying, but I haven't found a solution to that yet. I'm going to take apart the diffs and see if there's something I can do to fix this roll. So those are all the mods in total that I did for this Panda Hobby 124. So let's get it on the track and see how it does. Okay, let's see it on Treacherous Alley. So I think it's important that whenever you test different vehicles, trucks, anything you're testing, that you kind of do it in the same environment. That's kind of why I built this little track, to test things and also to have fun with my kids and myself. It's fun on it. And I think it actually did that pretty good. So here on the rocker, not really much of a test. Pretty much gets right over it. That extra clearance definitely helped. The Jimmy Flipper is hard for any vehicle, but it does it with pretty much ease, I think. So now let's see if we can crawl up this without pegging it. Oh. Ooh, pretty good articulation there. I'm not sure if you can see that. That's a pretty good articulation getting over that little peg. Alright, now on to Death by Seesaw. That axial ESC is definitely helping. You don't have that clicky jumpiness that it had before. All the mods are definitely helping it clear everything much easier. You can see much better articulation here in the front and in the back. Let's see how we do when we get to the broken wall here. Yeah, again, much better articulation. You see that rocking? That's the rocking that I want to see if I can try and get out of this truck. That's made me fall over a few times. That rocking has made me fall over a few times. Alright, now on to beam damage. Will it fall back? It always falls back here. Can we recover? Probably not. I think this guy will do better going this way. Very easy. Now it's a cliffhanger. See if we can get into position. This should show how much better the articulation is with the mods. Especially here. Very good. All tires are on the ground. Before, pretty sure this tire was up. I don't think it could have made that before without the mods. The ESC, like I said, it's night and day That old the Panda ESC was it worked, but it was crap. Oh, it's hanging in there. Alright, now onto Stumpy and the Big Wheel Menace. Just got down Danger Hill, no problem. Now Stumpy and the Big Wheel Menace. Hopefully, I'm going to try doing it slow. A lot of times, right when it goes over this piece here, it gets stuck here and you can't get out. Like that. So I think I'm going to have to push it through there. It's a tricky part right here. You gotta push through. And then down to these. Now the hardest challenge, the impossible wall. I wonder if it can do this. Not happening. Try backwards. Well, it does wheelies. So is the Panda out of the box any match for the SCX24 out of the box? I'd say nowhere near. Out of the box, the SCX24 is amazing. I did some mods. I raised it up. I put in a new ESC and made it even better. So this can't come close to it now, but even with the mods that I did to this, it can't touch this, the SCX out of the box, no matter what. So, you know, all the effort I put into it, I definitely made it run better, 1,000 times better than how it comes out of the box, but it's still no match for the SCX24. If it's a toss-up between these two, you're not sure which one you want to get. This one has portals. Yeah, it's really nice, but it needs a ton of work to get it to run okay. Where this, straight away, right out of the box, it's going to run great. You do a few mods, it's going to run phenomenal. Definitely this one, if it's a choice. But if you have this one, do these mods, and it makes an incredible difference. And it makes it so much more pleasurable to fool around with, and you'll have much more fun. Hopefully, if they have a V2 with this, they address all these issues and make it a good deal, better than what this is out of the box. But like I said, do the mods and it really improves the ride. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and ding the bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Subscribe. Ding the bell.